crowd is gone, the room finally exhales. Chairs stand still, the piano rests its hands, the bartender lowers the lights. The night has changed its tone. The single man remains at the table, not because he has nowhere to go, but because quiet moments reveal more truth than loud ones ever did. The laughter that filled this room already belongs to the past, and the arguments have lost their importance after the crowd is gone. The truth begins to show. After the crowd is gone, the man finally knows. After the crowd is gone, when the noise disappears, the quiet voice inside him is the only one he hears. He remembers younger nights when he chased excitement, when every moment demanded reaction, but time rearranges ambition. Now he prefers the calm, the kind that arrives when nothing needs to be proven. He studies the candle flame, the last movement in the room, how something so small can still light the darkness. After the crowd is gone, the truth begins to show. After the crowd is gone, a man finally knows. After the crowd is gone, under midnight skies, silence becomes the answer to questions he survived. Soon he'll stand and leave without drawing attention. Just another gentleman walking quietly back into the night. And the room will feel different, though no one saw him go. city has foundations hidden under stone, strength you never notice until it stands alone. I learned to build in darkness, lay structure out of sight. The loud construct illusions, I construct the night. Blueprints in my memory, plans beneath the comb. I don't speak of what I'm shaping, I let results disarm. Drums barely touch the surface, bass steady and restrained. Real momentum doesn't tremble, it simply remains. I'm building silent architecture, brick by brick unseen. No flashing lights, no spectacle, just discipline between. I'm building silent architecture, where patience sets the tone. And when the structure rises, it will stand on its own. I've walked away from arguments that offered nothing back. Energy is currency, and I don't waste it on attack. Some men chase quick victories, celebrate too fast. I invest in permanence, in something built to last. Not understands ambition, it doesn't beg for life. Some of us were wired to operate at night. Silent architecture, steady and profound. The strongest designs in history were rarely loud. And when morning comes, they'll wonder how it rose without a sound. Quiet men understand the danger of quick anger, the cost of careless words, and the weight of unfinished thoughts. They watch enough life to see how easily noise disguises weakness. In a dim corner of the bar, a man studies the room like a reader returning to an old familiar book. He's seen the same characters before, the loud dreamers, the restless fighters, the ones who believe the night belongs to them. But he also knows the night eventually belongs to silence. Quiet men understand. Sometimes walking away is the only honorable move. There was a time he believed every battle must be answered, every insult must be corrected, every misunderstanding explained. Now he knows better. Some things deserve silence, some people deserve distance, and some nights deserve nothing but calm. Quiet men understand. Understand the strength of restraint, the dignity of composure, and the strange peace that arises after pride finally sits down. Quiet men understand why silence is sometimes the final answer. There's a gentle way of leaving that no anger understands, where a man simply grows quiet and removes his steady hands. No slammed doors or broken voices, no demand to be explained, just the calm of understanding. Some things cannot remain. He once fought to keep the moment, once believed that love could stay. But the wisdom born from silence showed a softer kind of way. So he learned to move with dignity through the dim and fading light, like a gentleman who knows how to disappear at night. There's a gentle way of leaving where the quiet men survive. There's a gentle way of leaving bitterness or blame. Just the calm of understanding. Life is more than winning games. Soon the door will close behind him, and the street will take his name. But the peace inside his heartbeat will forever stay the same. There's a gentle way of leaving, only silent men can know. Where the strongest kind of courage is the strength to simply go. There was a night, the rain kept falling down these tired avenue lines. I walked past every place I knew and left my younger self behind. Used to talk about forever, used to swear I'd never been, but the city showed me slowly how a story has to end. I've seen proud men lose their temper, watch their kingdoms fall apart, but the quiet ones keep walking with a steady kind of heart. Every streetlight casts a shadow, every shadow hides a truth. You can run from every lesson, but they'll find you in your youth. Shadows don't apologize, they just follow where you go. Through the midnight and the silence, down the road you used to know. Shadows don't apologize, they don't beg or justify, they just walk beside a man while the rest of life goes by. Slow. Every step feels like a promise to a man I've come to know. Shadows don't apologize, they just follow where you go. Through the midnight and the silence, down the road you used to know. Shadows don't apologize, they don't beg or justify, They just walk beside a man while the rest of life goes by. And the night forgives the quiet ones. Warm love guitar bleeding soft through the edges of the night. I've drawn plans inside my mind, far from public sight. Every setback became structure, every scar a beam, while they chased applause and credit. I redesigned the scheme. The candlelight reflects precision across a steady gaze. You don't see the outer texture built across the years and days. No dramatic declarations, no theatrical display. Discipline became the language I speak without delay. Silent blueprint underneath the calm, framework forged in flame. You won't see it forming, but it's shaping the game. Silent blueprint, quiet design, patience has the key. The loud construct illusions, I construct quietly. Every move tonight is anchored to something deeper still. Emotion doesn't lead me, alignment bends my will. The bar goes dimmer by the minute, but clarity grows bright. Some men shine in daylight, others own the night. Glass empty, decision intact, blueprint secure. Standing by the alley corner where the neon flickers blue, there's a man with one last cigarette, thinking things he never knew. The bar behind him's getting louder, but his thoughts are drifting far. Sometimes peace begins a moment you walk out of where you are. He once fought for every answer. He once begged the world to stay. But 1,000 quiet mornings showed him there's another way. You don't always win by shouting. You don't always lose by leaving. Sometimes walking out the door is the bravest kind of breathing. One last cigarette tonight under lonely city lights. Let the smoke just fade away with the things he couldn't say. One last cigarette tonight while the midnight air is still. Sometimes peace arrives the moment you decide to use your will. He drops the ash and keeps on walking with a calm that feels brand new. One last cigarette tonight under lonely city light. Let the smoke just fade away with the things he couldn't say. One last cigarette tonight while the midnight air is still. Sometimes peace arrives the moment you decide to use your will. There's a moment in the evening when a man decides to go. Not from anger, not from weakness, just because he finally knows. Some rooms never held his future. Some people never changed. So he folds the night around him and disappears again. He don't slam the door behind him. He don't leave a bitter word, because dignity is louder than the anger people hurt. Every step away from chaos, every mile beneath the sky, is another quiet victory for a man who chose goodbye. A gentleman leaves quietly, no drama in his stride, just a calm of understanding and the truth he can't deny. when the stories run its course, because walking out in silence is sometimes the strongest force. From now they might remember that he vanished overnight, but they'll never know the reasons that were written in that night. Just another calm departure under streetlights soft and dim, where the city kept its secret and the road welcomed him in. Some goodbyes are whispered to the empty midnight air. Midnight leans against the buildings, street lights flicker out and thin. My footsteps trace the broken pavement where the noise of day has never been. Guitar bleeds through the silence, low and patient in my veins. Every note a quiet reminder, some victories don't make names. Windows glow like distant memories, behind curtains drawn too tight. Everyone fights their private battles, I just prefer mine out of sight. No raised voice, no restless movement, no need to prove control. The strongest shifts in any city happen deep inside a soul. I don't announce my intention, I don't rehearse my plan. I let decisions ripen slowly before I move my hand. I move like shadows over asphalt lines, deliberate steps, no warning sign. The loud may chase their borrowed shine, but I build mine in the night. There's power in restraint, and knowing when to wait, and letting opportunities reveal their natural weight. I've seen ambition self-destruct from speaking far too soon. Patience is a sharpened blade that cuts without a wound. Every street I cross remembers the man I used to be. Reactive, loud, impatient, chasing visibility. but growth don't scream for witnesses. It happens quietly. I move like shadows over asphalt lines. Purpose in my quiet spine. Not every empire needs a sign. Some are built in the night. Streetlight fades behind me, city breathing slow. I leave no sound, no evidence, just a direction only I know. Candlelight leans across the table, amber resting in my hand. The room hums low in minor chords, soft drums like distant sand. I've learned to sit with silence without the need to fill the air. A man who understands restraint doesn't advertise he's there. The loud rehearse their confidence, projected through the room. I let mine settle slowly, like smoke beneath the gloom. Every word I choose is measured, every pause intentional, because presence built on discipline is nearly dimensional. This is the discipline of quiet, the art of standing still, of holding storms behind the eyes, through patience and through will. I move without announcement, no spectacle to deploy. The strongest kind of power makes no unnecessary noise. Swallow pride before it spoke, let ego lose its seat, because a calm and centered man is difficult to defeat. The guitar bends slow and thoughtful, like memory refined by time. I don't chase validation, my alignment is my sign. There is weight in composure, in breathing slow and deep, in knowing what to answer and what to never keep. The candle burns lower, nothing in the room has changed, but something in me has aligned. The bar is almost empty now. Just low light and a tune. I sit where shadows gather beneath the fading moon. Not every presence enters with spectacle or flame. Some alter the temperature without announcing their name. I've learned to speak in fewer words. Let silence stretch between. Because meaning grows in space where noise has never been. The drums brush slow and patient. Guitar bends like memory. There's gravity in stillness when you've earned serenity. This is the weight of presence, unspoken but defined. You feel it in the posture of a disciplined mind. This is the weight of presence, calm but intense. Power without volume, influence without pretense. Don't correct misunderstanding, don't chase every doubt. Clarity doesn't argue, it simply plays out. Some men fill a room with noise, then vanish with the air. I remain long after because restraint was there when I stand. The room adjusts. No one knows exactly why. There's a place where all noise fades, where street and shadow blend, where a man can move with clarity without the need to defend. I walk towards that horizon where emotion stays contained, not suppressed, just mastered, not cold, just trained. Headlights sweep across the pavement, disappear again. Temporary flashes in a long-term plan. I've learned not to respond to every spark of pride, 'cause permanence is built by those who can decide. At the vanishing point of the city lights, I make my quiet turns. No signal, no confession, just lessons hard earned. At the vanishing point of restless mind, I redraw the line. You don't see the shift, but it's mine. The night air sharpens folks, breathing steady and slow. The strongest kind of movement is the one you never show. I don't need a witness to validate my stride. Direction is internal when ego steps aside. Let them search for headlines, let them chase the spark. I prefer controlled combustion in the dark. At the vanishing point, I turn away. No ceremony, no display. The loud will fade with morning light. I remain beyond the sight, just a lone figure crossing into deeper night, leaving only a line behind. Low light on a wooden floor, same seat like 1,000 nights before. I don't rush to close an hour. I've seen what comes from borrowed power. Fast men fade like neon signs. I prefer the long designs. Every handshake, every nod, every silence carries weight of God. I don't gamble what I build. I don't speak unless it's real. There were winters in my chest, times I carried what I never confessed. But storms don't last forever long. They shape the spine, they tune the song. I learned restraint the hardest way, by watching loud men decay. Measure steps in low like glow. I don't chase, I let it flow. No parade when I arrive, no collapse when I survive. I don't move to be admired, I move when the moment's wide. Betrayal tastes like bitter rye, burns slow but it clarifies. You see who stands and who just talks, who builds walls and who just walks. I cut ties without a scene, no broken glass, no gasoline, just distance drawn with steady hands. That's how a quiet man commands. You won't hear me stake a claim, I don't compete inside that game, because the loudest in the room usually meet the quickest doom. There's a difference between noise and force, between reaction and real course, between a temper and control, between attention and a soul. Measure step, deliberate pace, I don't need to win the race, while others shout to feel alive. I sharpen edges, I survive in the dark, my vision's clear. Silence is my atmosphere. When I leave no trace, but the room remembers grace. He was never one for shouting, never needed to be heard. He believed a man's intention should be stronger than his word. So he'll walk through every season with a calm that didn't bend, even when the road grew colder and the night refused to end. There were days he almost faltered, there were nights he nearly broke, but the quiet kind of strength is the one that never spoke. He just carried every burden like a coat against the rain, and the world kept moving forward, never noticing his pain. That's the quiet kind of strength that no crowd will celebrate. It's the patience in the darkness, while the loud men tempt their fate. There's the courage in the silence, when nobody understands how 1,000 private battles built a steady pair of hands. Now he walks through empty avenues with the same familiar calm, knowing life will test a man before it shows him who he's become. And if someone ever wonders why he rarely speaks his mind, it's because the deepest wisdom lives in men who stay confined. Strength don't always make a sound. Sometimes it just walks away. Streetlight falling on the pavement, midnight breathing soft and low. Every shadow knows my story, but no one else will ever know. Used to talk about my future, used to dream out loud and proud, but the world has ways of teaching quiet man to lead the crowd. I've been walking through decisions that no one else could ever see. Every step a silent promise of the man I had to be. Some doors closed without a warning, some friends faded in the rain. Some nights I learned the hard way how a man absorbs his pain. So I move in silence now, let the loud ones chase the sound. Every mile beneath these streetlights feels like sacred ground. No applause when I arrive, no farewell when I go, just footsteps on the streetlight and the truth only I know. There were words I never answered, there were fights I didn't start, there were storms that tried to break me, but they only shape my heart. Now the city keeps on breathing while I walk the midnight line, a gentleman without a witness, leaving echoes far behind. Streetlight fades behind my shadow, but the road is always mine. You could miss him if you blink. He never stands at the edge of the brink. He never raised his voice in rage, never fought for center stage. When the room was filled with heat, he leaned back, crossed his feet. He watched empires rise and fall, never needed to stand tall, because height ain't measured loud, and strength don't beg a crowd. He lost things he won't explain, buried pride beneath the pain, folded grief inside his coat, never let it reach his throat. Some men break and make a sound, some just tighten up their crown. He never raised his voice, still the room respected his choice. Didn't threaten, didn't dream, didn't advertise his need. He moved slow, he moved wide, steel was hidden in his eyes. When betrayal knocked his door, he didn't pace across the floor. He just recalculated lines, cutting ties in silent signs. No revenge in what he planned, just distance drawn by steady hand. He understands the cost of war and what restraint is for. Candlelight reflects his face, years of discipline and grace. He doesn't rush to prove he's right, he just sleeps well at night. Storms will come again, but thunder doesn't shake that man. He never raised his voice, still he always had a choice. Walk away or stay and fight. He chose calm over might, and that's the kind of poise that never needs a noise. But you'll feel it when he's gone. Smoke above the old piano, moves like ghosts across the air. Every note becomes a question, no one in the room can share. A gentleman sits listening with a calm you cannot fake, because every quiet lesson took a lifetime just to make. He once ran toward the daylight, chasing voices in the crowd, but the truth he needed most was never meant to be that loud. So he learned the slow language of restraint and quiet grace, where a man can face his battle without changing his pace. Smoke above the piano drifts like memories tonight. Smoke above the piano softens every neon light. In the quiet of the evening, where the restless lose control, smoke above the piano helps a man protect his soul. Bartender dims the lighting, and the song begins to fade, but the calm inside that man tonight is something years have made. Smoke above the piano whispers truth without a sound. Sometimes life becomes much clearer when the noise is no longer around. I stroll where the street lamps bend. Every corner holds a truth I can't pretend. The night is thick, the air a velvet cloak. I speak in action, not in words I spoke. Eyes watch from windows unaware. Pass like a secret, dissolved in the air. Life unfolds around me, loud and fast, but I linger, observe, let nothing last. I am the midnight gentleman, alone, refined. I move with purpose, leaving no sign. The world can't roar, the city can't spin. I remain still, a calm within. Subtle drum mark the rhythm of my pace. Electric guitar hums in my quiet space. I take the path where silence leads and plant my steps like scattered seeds. I am not lost, I am unseen, a moving shadow in a midnight scene. No rush, no chase, just the steady flow. The night is mine, the streets I know. I am the midnight gentleman, alone, refined. I move with purpose, leaving no sign. The world can roar, the city can't spin. I remain still, a calm within. Night whispers, I answer with grace, a quiet life, a steady pace. Quiet suits don't beg for space, they occupy it slow. Tailored lines and broken face, that's how you know. This fabric holds what I survived, not what I lost. Elegance is staying alive at cost. I don't speak of tired eyes or nights that didn't end. A man who advertises scars has something left to mend. Jazz leans heavy on the room like truth with manners. I've learned how calm resumes when chaos stammers. I don't ask, I decide. There's power in finishing a drink before it finishes you. There's clarity in how you think when you stay true. I leave the bar like I was taught, no open tabs behind. I mastered less than what it bought was time. Quiet suits don't beg, they endure. the streets where the night breeze low. Every light a whisper, every shadow I know. The city sleeps but I'm awake, unseen. Silent steps echo where no one has been. Smoke curls through the alleyways I pass, a fleeting ghost like the memories that last. I watch the world from corners, quiet and still. Decisions made with iron, tempered will. I leave no trace, only whispers in the dark. A moving silhouette, a lone man with a spark. I breathe in silence, I speak in eyes. I move through the night when no one hears my cries. Street lights flicker like the thoughts in my mind. Every heartbeat measured, every step refined. I've learned the art of patience, the power of restraint. In a world of noise, my quiet is my pain. And when the dawn breaks, I vanish like smoke. No one sees the man, only the words he spoke. I am the calm, the storm you can't foresee. A shadow walking alive and free. I leave no trace, only whispers in the dark. A moving silhouette, a lone man with a spark. I breathe in silence, I speak in eyes. I move through the night where no one hears my cries. I am the shadow, the silence, the night. I move in purpose, out of sight. The city fears to tread. Footsteps quiet, every word unsaid. The night hums low, thick with sound. I glide like a ghost, nowhere bound. I watch the lives that flash and fade. I make my moves in the quiet shade. The world is loud, but I am still a man with purpose, iron will. The silent gentleman, walking alone through empty streets. I make my own, no eyes to follow, no voice to hear. I move through darkness, calm and clear. Guitar wails softly, bass holds me near. gently, I feel them clear. Every choice deliberate, every step true. A life in shadow, yet full view. No one notices the power I hold, the quiet strength, calm and bold. I am the man who walks the night, a shadow moving out of sight. The silent gentleman, walking alone through empty streets. I make my own, no eyes to follow, no voice to hear. I move through darkness, calm and clear. Silent gentleman, walking alone through empty streets. I make my own, no eyes to follow, no voice to hear. I move through darkness, calm and clear. The morning rises, I disappear, a quiet force, no one near. I walk the empty streets, the city is asleep. Every corner holds secrets I keep. The air is thick, the lights unknown. I move like a shadow, steady and slow. Indoors glow with lives I don't touch. I pass unnoticed, it doesn't take much. Every glance I steal, every whisper sound I leave, no trace on the silent ground in the night. My silent guide, I move through darkness, nowhere to hide. No one sees, no one knows. guitar cry, drums whisper like midnight sky. I measure each step, I weigh each breath, the quiet life between life and death. I am the call on the city road, a man unseen, the hand closed ghost. The night is mine, the streets my stage, a quiet presence, a subtle sage. Well, of night, my silent guide, I move through darkness, nowhere to hide. No one sees, no one knows. I love your silence, where mystery folds. The dawn may come, the shadow will fade, but I remain a man unafraid. The bar is breathing slow tonight, candlelight shaking on the wall. Piano keys, don't ask me why, they just fall. I sit where shadows know my name, where men don't speak unless they must. I spilled enough truth in the rain, now I trust. Whiskey never asks questions, it just listens well. I've learned to do the same thing since I fell. Bartender wipes another glass like he's erasing sins. Some men talk about the past, I let it spin. I don't need to be understood, I just need to stay precise. I've done the best I could at a reasonable price.
my former life, though I've lost a man or two. I learned decisions cut like knives if you rush them through. So I breathe, I wait, I sip, let the moment settle down. I don't let my fingers slip when fate comes around. Whiskey never asks questions. That's why I stay.
Amber light spills across the polished bar. Guitar hums, bass hums, drums whisper low. I sit alone, a quiet observer of life, handling my thoughts with careful precision. Patrons chatter, laughter rises and fades. I watch without notice, every glance considered. Life's trials remain behind calm eyes, every decision weighed, every emotion contained. Smoke curls toward the ceiling, slow and deliberate. Notes float through the room like soft reminders. I sip my drink, letting the warmth anchor me. Every heartbeat is steady, control rhythm. The night is mine yet fleeting, every shadow bending around my stillness. No gesture wasted, no word unnecessary. A gentleman navigating life without display. As the bar empties, I rise, disappearing quietly. Coat over my arm, footsteps off against the floor. My presence lingers like a subtle echo, a man moving in calm, intense silence. Footsteps off against the cold pavement. Every night carries a quiet statement. I watch, I wait, I never speak, a silent figure in the city's mystique. Street lights flicker, casting smoky halos. Life rushes past like a fleeting shadow. I move with purpose, never in haste. Every choice considered, nothing to waste. Shadows whisper low, secrets in my stride. I move unseen, with nothing to hide. No eyes follow, no one to see the quiet rhythm that lives in me. Guitar hums warm, bass holds me steady. Drums like a pulse, calm and ready. I navigate light with hands in control, a man of silence, a measured soul. Every street a canvas, every corner a frame. I leave no mark, yet I play the game. The night is mine, the city my stage. A quiet dancer, unseen sage. Shadows whisper low, secrets in my stride. I move unseen, with nothing to hide. No eyes follow, no one to see the quiet rhythm that lives in me. I fade into the night's embrace. A gentleman's journey, quiet grace. I stand still when things collapse, watch the truth reveal. Panic leaves fingerprints, stillness lets you heal. I've seen chaos sell its soul for attention and relief. I chose another road, I chose disbelief. I don't justify my calm, I don't dramatize pain. I learned how to stay warm inside the rain. Stillness is my alibi. I don't run, I don't hide. When questions multiply, I let silence decide. No trembling confession, no nervous disguise. I stay in my position and let the lies die. Neon lights accuse the rain, cars whisper by. I've watched men go insane, trying to deny. I don't defend my actions, I don't rewrite my past. I accept the reaction and let it pass. Stillness is my alibi. No witness, no sound. I don't testify, I just stand my ground. No need to convince, no need to persuade. I don't offer a defense, I let time fade. Fear sweats, calm breathe, that's how you
doesn't plead, it doesn't sell. I don't flinch under fire, I don't bend to demand. I just quietly retire with clean hands. Another hour dissolves, I remain unchanged. Some men evolve by revolt, I evolve by restraint. Stillness is my alibi, that's how I walk free. I don't clarify, I just let them see. If guilt comes searching, it won't recognize me. I was never moving for them to see. Still and untouchable. The clock ticks slow, the streets are bare. I walk alone with time to spare. Every lamplight flickers in my eyes. I move through darkness where silence lies. People rush past, chasing their dreams. I move at my own quiet streams. Every choice deliberate, every step my own. I build my kingdom from shadows alone. The long night walk, my secret place through smoky streets. I leave no trace, no one to follow, no one to see. The life I lead in quiet liberty. Guitar hums soft, bass flows low, drums whisper stories only I know. I breathe in the night, exhale restraint, a silent man, deliberate and quaint. Every alley, every street a guide. I move like a ghost with nothing to hide. No need for eyes, no need for praise. I walk my path through midnight haze. The long night walk, my secret place through smoky streets. I leave no trace, no one to follow, no one to see. The life I lead in quiet liberty.
No trace, no one to follow, no one to see the life I lead in quiet liberty. Dawn breaks slowly, but I remain a lone shadow, free of chains. Candlelight dances on the rim of a glass I didn't rush. This place remembers quite a man who never made a fuss. I straighten my sleeve, slow and clean, like discipline's a prayer. Chaos always leaks between hands that don't care. I don't scan the room for eyes, I don't lean into the sound. A man who's lived enough goodbyes knows how to stay unbound. There's dignity in how you wait, there's violence in haze. Ooh, I learned how timing calibrates what shouldn't be chased. The band plays low, the brush is sweet, confessions off the floor. I've learned what things I get to keep by losing more. Some men drown in what they feel, some men fake control. I learned manners help you seal a fractured soul. I move with manners, even under strain, because composure outlives pain. Napkin folded, glass aligned, everything in place. It's not obsession, it's designed to never misplace what little calm the night allows. I don't abuse, I learn restraint is how a man chooses. Candlelight doesn't flicker, it undisplays. Bartender wipes down the worn wood bar. I sit alone, nursing who we are. The night wraps tight, thick with haze, every thought a silent phrase. Guitar hums deep,
bass carries low, drums brush gently, soft and slow. I ponder life, my choice is my way, the quiet struggles I face each day. Last call thoughts, heavy and true, a gentleman's mind quietly blue. No eyes notice, no words reveal the careful steps I quietly feel. Candlelight flickers on my lined face. I take my time, I hold my space. Every decision deliberate, every breath mine. I navigate the night, one quiet line. I am here, yet I fade away, a silent presence, soft as clay. No applause, no gaze to claim. I walk my life without the fame. Last call thoughts, heavy and true, a gentleman's mind quietly blue. No eyes notice, no words reveal the careful steps I quietly feel. The night dissolves, I leave in silence, problems unsolved. Carried himself like a decision already made and lived. No hesitation in his vision, no need to forgive. The bar reflected him in parts. Glass never shows the whole. He'd stitched himself from broken starts into control. Some men confuse silence with fear. He knew the cost, he'd paid attention year by year, and lost enough illusions to stand still without collapsing. Stillness is a practice skill worth mastering. A couple laughed 2 stools away. He smiled, not bitter. Joy isn't loud when it's real, they say. it's quieter. He folded pain the way you fold a jacket clean, not hiding it, just keeping hold of what it means. He didn't speak, he arrived. When he stood, the room adjusted without a sound. Presence doesn't need to be trusted. It's found. The door closed gentle behind his back. No need to rush. A man like that doesn't crack, he hushes. He carried himself, and that was enough.
Nothing personal in his eyes, just clarity earned. He learned not every goodbye needs to be burned. The bar had seen him years ago. Another man. Tonight he moved deliberate and slow, with a plan. He remembered loving without sense, bleeding to belong. Now he preferred consequence over wrong. Jazz whispered truths he already knew, didn't argue back. Life takes its time breaking you, then gives you track. He didn't blame, he didn't curse, didn't ask why. Acceptance is a quieter verse men rarely try. He paid attention to the weight of every breath. Nothing rushed him toward his fate or death. Nothing personal, just life. Outside the night held no surprise, just open space. He walked like someone who made peace with pace. No grudges folded in his coat, no debts unpaid. A man who learns the final note stay. Nothing personal, just like
I sit alone where the light is dim. Candle flames flicker across the polished wood. The bartender hums a soft, familiar tune. Rush drums mark time, as if the night itself listens. My glass catches the reflection of my hands. Every line and wrinkle tells the stories I don't speak. The guitar hums warm, analog, resonant, each note echoing the choices I made quietly. Patrons laugh in the distance, unaware of the stillness here. I watch, measure, absorb life's victories and losses, all carried without display. I move deliberately, a gentleman hidden in plain sight. Curls forming shadows that mirror my thoughts. Every breath a decision, every sip a reflection. I leave no footprints in the night, yet my presence lingers, subtle, intense, composed. When the hour wanes and the bar empties, I rise softly, coat draped over my arm. Outside the city sleeps, unaware of the quiet storm I carry. I disappear into the darkness, measured, unannounced.
The streets are empty, yet full of sound, echoes of lives that rush around. I take each step with quiet intent, a man of action, but heaven sent. Windows glow with lives I don't know. I'm moving shadows completely alone. Every glance measured, every breath mine. I navigate night with a design. Long steps, a path unknown. I move in silence, I move alone. The city sleeps, but I remain, a shadow walking in the midnight rain. guitar cries softly, bass runs low, drums are subtle, steady, slow, every moment calculated, every choice precise. I live my life without rolling dice, through alleys dark, past neon light. I call my way in the cloak of night. No one to follow, no one to see the life I lead in secrecy. Lone steps, a path unknown. I move in silence, I move alone. The city sleeps, but I remain a shadow walking in the midnight rain. When morning breaks, I disappear, a man in motion, no one near. He walked home slower in the rain, not because he was weak, but because rushing never explains what silence speaks. The street accepted every drop without complaint. He learned something watching water stop and start again. Rain doesn't care about your plans or where you fail. It treats the poor and wealthy hands unveiled. He loosened his collar, breathing deep, let the night decide. A man who learns how not to keep everything inside. Shoes soaked through, thoughts ran clear, funny how that works. Discomfort makes the truth appear without the purpose. He passed the bar where jazz still played behind wet glass. Another version of himself stay in the past. Some men fight the weather, some men walk with it. Some men walk with it. Rain stitched the city back together, crack by crack. He stopped replaying every error, every lap. A man doesn't need to be dry to be whole.
Sometimes you let the storm pass by through your soul. He remembered nights he ran too fast, trying to arrive. Rain taught him nothing lasts but the drive. No witnesses, no confession, no plea. Just a man learning progression quietly. By the time he reached his door, the rain went light, like it had nothing left to pour tonight. He stood there wet, calm, aware, breathing slow. Some lessons only meet you there, you know. He walked home slower in the rain and arrived. Rain started somewhere before midnight. Not dramatic, not loud, just enough to soften the streetlights and hold the crowd. The bar windows blurred the city like memory tends to do. I sat where reflections get messy and honest too. I didn't come here to escape. I came to sit still. Rain understands with shade. A widow, it doesn't ask you to explain why you're tired. It just keeps falling the same. Sad umbrellas, rough night lights, trying to stay dry. A blonde man who'll never cry still lets rain by. The grass was cold against my hand. I stopped pretending to understand what I already know. Rain was the only thing that spoke, and I listened.
wanted to be. Ambition, anger, persuasion ran free. I didn't fight the memory to find its way back. Rain has a strange ability to unpack. I remember the love I didn't say, not from pride but fear. Rain doesn't judge the brave or sincere. It washed the sidewalk clean without a pause, like the way a man should leave a cause. Then I stood, the chair stayed warm. I gave respect your time. The bartender nodded, nothing swung, no sand. Outside rain settled into my coat like it belonged. I didn't hurt